have some questions related to, let's say, sexual politics. In our lifetime, the balance of power between men and women seems to have done a 180, where, not saying it's better or worse, but clearly women much more dominant, much more aggressive, much more independent of men than they used to be. And I'm wondering what your comments on these changes might be.
Well, it's obvious that from a point of view, both men and women are confused. So I don't think one is better than the other. Men are just as confused about what they're supposed to do, although we have a long history here in civilization, so-called, where the man is a certain type. But that's obviously not enough, because that's not true, necessarily. Man is not a man, nor is a woman, in a sense. So that's really where the confusion is. When you're in a woman's body and you see yourself, and you know you're not a woman, but you have to act like a woman, and you're acting like a woman, but you know that's not who you are. Same with a man. Right? Convinced, persuaded, cultured into thinking you're a man, and that's what a man is, and you're all that, and so get over it. You're a man. Right? And then the man looks and he says he knows he's not a man. So, yeah, I'm supposed to be, but I know I'm not a man. I don't know what I am, but I know I'm not a man. Whatever that means. Right?
So, what do you think the effect of all this is leading towards? Because it seems like the dissolution of family structures, at least traditional family structures, is very active. Men are marginalized and looked at as idiots for the most part, and if you watch TV at all, every TV commercial, the man is an idiot.
Well, you can't believe all you see on the TV.
Yes. And yet these things influence, they're specifically designed by skillful people to influence people's thinking and people's beliefs.
In other words, those who don't know better. So they're there to more or less set or project an agenda for those who don't know any better.
Exactly.
So we're talking then the media functioning as some kind of educational tool, for the most part. Yeah, all of that is part of the confusion of the times. That's why the media can get away with what it does, as well as it, and as much as it does. And that's because people are confused. They're confused because there's no real leadership, spiritually speaking. Right? Because we're not men and we're not women, we're spirits. And so there's no real original basis apart from what religion tells you. Oh, that you're this, you're that. No, spirits. Without the this and the that. Spirits. Light beings. Sound beings. Originally. Cosmic intelligence. Originally. And always true. So the rest is part of the confusion. And the confusion is due to a lack of original understanding, lack of original direction, lack of the truth of what we are. Not as people, but as spirits. That means interdimensional beings. Not as people, because then we're limited to traditional, cultural programs. And we think, oh, we're people because of this, because of this. No, you're spirit. You're just spirit. Because you are spirit. It's more direct, more fundamental. It's not because all the wonderful things it does or doesn't do. You just are the living force of life. And that's what we need to know, that we are all the time, not just now and then, and from there start to recreate what needs to be seen as a real world. As long as we're subject to unenlightened or unensounded deafness, see, we're talking about spiritual deafness, then we have this confusion. It's like, it doesn't matter whether the men are acting like men or like women or like animals. It's all the same. Nobody knows for sure. Because we're not being spirits, we're being this, that, whatever program. Spirit, no program. No program. Capable of programs, and no program. Whereas you have peeps who are programs, not capable of programs. We're just programs. It's very different. So the whole idea of feminism or masculinism, these things are exaggerations or perversions of the sexual image. There is none of that. When a mother's breastfeeding a child, there's no mother. It's just breastfeeding the child. It's just following an impulse of life. It's not about, oh, I'm your mother and you're the kid. It's beyond that. So you go to the bathroom, it's not like you're going to the bathroom. It's happening. It's original, direct functioning. Without so-called politics, which means another maybe exaggeration, perversion, perception of what's happening, of who over who, what over what, see? And so all of this is born of the original, I'm going to say, darkness. And that original darkness is that you are human, animal only, because of your situation. So there's nothing happening beyond that. So all the circuitry that is there, potentially related to the cosmos, the celestial and all the rest, the divine, is completely overridden by this. Right? And when it shows up, then it's smashed. So you say, no, you can't be having those kinds of impressions because of programming. So why not? Everyone is entitled to those impressions, sacred impressions, because we are originally and always spirit. Pure spirit soul. Capable of programming, but not limited to programming. So it's a whole different kind of karma. Taught at school from the beginning. Child, you're a spirit soul. Well, this is what we understand spirit soul to me by this tradition or that tradition. So you pick which is you. Which is you? Which is the real you? See? Which is your potential? Which is your heart? Which is your truth? You. See? Which is the spiritual in your case, child? Tell us, if you can. So the confusion is widespread, and it's being reinforced all the time. That feminism is feminism, masculinism is masculinism. As if you're supposed to believe that. Gay is gay, non-gay is non-gay. We're a mix of everything, but that's in the flesh, and we are beyond all of it, in spirit. Same is true for music. You're a mix of everything. In terms of culture, we're a mix of it. We're also a mix of the galaxy. And all the galaxies. We're mixed. But we're not looking at our potential as spirit galaxially mixed. See? Capable. It's God. Astronomers aren't doing that. They're just looking, fearfully looking into space. Not looking into space, but looking into space. Not looking into space. Real space, true space, heart space, but looking somewhere else. Right? And then they are the so-called geniuses. So then people who imagine they're less genius follow them to out there. Where? Nowhere. Forgetting what's needed here. Forgetting what's really needed here. And that is spiritual recognition. Original spirit, soul, right? Recognition. Life force, recognition. So there's not really much more to say about this kind of political, right? Social, sexual confusion that is ongoing here, primarily due to educational ignorance and educational confusion. Right? Oh, well, we want the children to learn this because if they don't learn this, they're not going to be this. See? Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. What do they really need? What's really necessary? What does the heart need that's really necessary? Let the children tell you. They already know what the heart needs. Like less confusion, less materializing, politicizing everything. See? And keeping some of that original spirit soul openness as important, okay? Critically important, as part of your being all the time. Not just, well, because you're a kid, you don't know any better, and it's okay for you to be that way when you're young. No, that is you, that's your being. When this music is played here, it's always youthful, innocent, childlike, but wise as a serpent. Okay? Wise, but open. Okay? Humble and fierce, gentle, powerful, forceful, like the wind and the tornado, the storm, and yet calm, all together. So this is native, but it's more than just culturally native. It has to do with the fact that we're spirit souls in the body and needing to maintain some kind of sense of the spirit soul nature that we really are, otherwise we are doomed to confusion. Okay? Whether you're on a reservation or a woodland reservation or concrete reservation, there's no difference. Okay? There's no difference. You can't lose your spirit soul nature, and then it's up to those who know better, as the elders, to keep that going and reach out for those who need to be continually reminded of their true nature as spirit soul being, apart from the conditioning. That is part of the problem, and what we would call make-believe educational programming that makes it harder for people to access their true spirit soul, original spirit soul nature, as part of the cosmic intelligence that doesn't need telescopes, right? Doesn't really need microscopes, although they're useful for specialized efforts. Okay? For those who need to deal with the macrocosmic, because that's their job or their mission to make available that to others, and the microcosmic universe as well, as specifically useful for its purposes. But it's not our true nature, okay, as such. Spirit soul nature. Open, cosmic, say, as such. Unconfused, say, clear, impersonal, neutral. Neutral. Not just sexual, but neutral, which is our true. We are capable. We are man and woman, mother and father. And so, what happened? What do you mean you're just father? What do you mean you're just a pair of balls? You weren't born from a pair of balls. You're born from a breast. Now, everyone is. Mother, woman first. And then you become conditioned to be so-called whatever, with or without genitals as such. State of mind. So we go back to the original sense of reality, which is to create or recover, not even to create. Create openness to what? What is already there is true and real? Yes, perhaps, but recover it. Go into it. Open more to it. See? Next question.
So the natural order has been turned upside down.
The make-believe world now. Go
Yes,
on.
rightly or wrongly, whatever its values, but it hasn't been replaced by, let's say, spiritual reconstruction. Instead, it's been replaced by a hyper powerful materialistic effort that, for example, sexualizes girls when they're 6 or 7. You know, takes the norms and the common sense that existed, as limited as it might have been, and has completely, you know, gotten rid of it. So things seem like they're, in terms of what kids are exposed to now, is sinking into a chaos and uncharted territory in a sense, because there's less spirituality than there even was a short time ago when people were confused.
Apart from religious purpose, is a spiritual purpose. Spiritual purpose. Not cultural spiritual purpose. Spiritual purpose. It means heart purpose. Yeah. And the bringing together of peeps on the basis of that. So the heart must speak for the heart. Yeah. This music is heart, fire, sound. It speaks for the heart. Yeah. speaks for the truth of the heart in terms of its freedom, in terms of its beauty, its majesty, its dignity, its nobility, its ferocity, and its gentleness, all at once. Which transcends culture. It has to do with the basic elements of the universe. Sunlight, dignity, fierceness of a storm, a problem, cloudless, clarity, all of these things are natural. Abundance, earthly abundance, so on. Creative, volcanic creativity, all of these are natural. They're not even, it's not even native, it's just real. It's our nature, because we are the earth, which is all planets, relatively speaking, which is the cosmic energy, relatively speaking, which is a living being, absolutely. The earth is smarter, more intelligent, more profoundly so than all of its little peeps put together. It knows, because it is the universe. We are, you know, as egos, as humans, pretending not to be the universe, we've made ourselves fearful of it. And so it is. You're less than the universe. The universe is going to crash in on you, because you're not being the universe. So I wrote years ago, 1983, don't be yourself, be the universe, which is a comment. Don't be nonsense. Be profound. Be open to the profound, because the profound is upon you. It's here. So we need to know what the profound is. It's the presence of the profound. And the way to find that, you have to have spiritual leadership. Make that clear to you. Otherwise you're like the other people, waiting to see and know and hear and feel, acknowledge, recognize, contact, access that, and it's not going to happen out there. That's why this is happening for the few. So you hear, you know, sweet little things, but it's coming from the profound respect of the profound. So the profound expresses itself through that. That's what it's for. So peeps can hear it and get the sense that the government and these other peeps don't have a calling to do. They're there to make you believe things are in order when they haven't got a clue. They're there to make you believe you're secure. There's no security here. Come on now. It's wide open. What security? Right? Just go for a plane ride anywhere along the coast. Where's the security? It's imaginary. Bull. Right? And we say, no, bull, man. We don't need that. We know what's happening. So getting back to the point, right, the profound, getting the children to feel the profound, so they are empowered by the sense of the profound. Talking to them as spirit souls, not as little kids who are ignorant nothings and nobodies, say, that they are sacred, empowered beings, little hearts, right? What could be more beautiful than a little heart, a baby heart? What are you going to do, kill it? What are you going to do, abuse it? Precious heart? We have to look properly at these things. Comment.
Do you think that this materialistic phase that we are in, that's accelerating all the time, has to, let's say, exhaust itself before there's any possibility of a return to any kind of spiritual basis for culture or society?
Well, for the most part, yes, of course. But then here, the exception. Here is a person born with a certain kind of commission, family given, family empowered, to make sure that there's some truth here, to make sure that whatever it means to this, that the music beyond anybody else's view stays pure, so that it is 100% pure music. See? Selfless, heartful music, heart fire sound, as described, exactly that. See? And then we have this hot fire sound coming out here to purify the few. They purify the few, more purified. Teachings to redirect the few back to the original heart fire soundness of their own heart fullness. We'll get to that. And then they start to reverse the darkness in their case and can do better for themselves and others to keep it going. So it's not lost. Regardless of what the masses are doing, this here is still here because it is needed. This is not a personal agenda. This is an impersonal necessity. As part of the overall cosmic balance of the darkness. That's what this is for. Of course. So I go into the darkness with this light, this huge light, right, in the form of the sound. The hot fire sound, the illumination of the hot fire sound. Right? Fire sound, luminous, radiant sound. Like more sound than sound. See? You hear me? Pregnant with power. See? There is Beethoven here. Speaking of. Oh. See? You hear? Perfect timing. So here we are using this medium of the Huda as living hot fire sound to other peeps to keep this thing going for the few so that they remain free of, see, and growing despite the programming out here to the contrary. See, to keep you darkened. And the other thing, ensounded. See, full of sound, light. See, fulfilled, heartful sound. See, to fill your heart with. So you feel that someone has done the job they were given by, let's say, the God, the Almighty, to use sound for. See, to break the walls down, right? The walls of Jericho. Break all the walls down. See, to go there as an indestructible force saying, there's nothing on earth that is stronger than this. Let it be known. This music is pure heart music. Make way for it. It will have its way anyway. Because those who can hear will hear it. Those who can see will hear it. And those who can hear will see it for what it is. Mm-hmm. So it's a liberated heart. Heart sound music. Free. Free at first. Always. See? Always. Always that. No more, no less that as anything else that is great. See? And the idea here is the great here is not so much in quantitative form, but here's the quality, the great quality of heartfulness. We must not lose faith in our heartfulness. See? You must always have faith in your own heart in this case. And that it is bigger, it can be bigger, it can be better. And that's it. See? No more, no less. Huge heartfulness. Make no mistake about it. That's what this sound is about. Till the last beat of the heart, last breath in the lungs, this thing that is, we can call it God-given, Spirit-given, heart-given, is what it is. Even if it's small and no one cares about it, those who are close to it know it's pure, and it will remain that way. And those who can see the signs here enjoy it. So, you know, it's humble, it's native, sacred, because it feels that way. We know it is that way. Not more sacred than others or anything else, but sacred along with sacredness, everyone's sense of it. See? Where you are open to letting be, being and letting be. See? Standing for cause, if you want to stand for your cause, no problem. See? Looking for goodness, but not necessarily keeping up with the peeps, as some would lead you to believe is a spiritual life. The spiritual life is as much privacy and working from behind the scenes as jumping out there and marching and doing these other things that are much more for who? Grandstanders maybe? Of course it has its place. The marchers must march. See? And those who are given to sanctuary life have to keep that alive. The idea is that it's not what you're doing out there, but what you're doing right from here, all the time. That makes the difference in terms of the pool, the cosmic pool of energy out here. That's why if you practice, you are being a light in the midst of the darkness, here and now. It's not out there. It's not even just inside. It just is for everybody to exercise their right to light, their right to sound, in the purest sense of the word sound. See? Heart, fire, sound. See? Pure sense. Heart, fire, sound. Which, coincidentally, has nothing to do with any culture or anything. Yet it includes all of it, but it's not that. Heart, fire, sound is no form. It's no speed. It's no time. It's no space. Heart, fire, sound is mystery. Transcendent. Point of view, let's say. Recognition or realization or phenomena. Good. That's us, the profound. We are with it all the time. And if we remind each other of that, we're doing music that has a taste of that or a feeling of that, this is good. This is what it's for here. That's why it's given as such. The teachings here, the word here, it's given for that purpose. Keep you in touch with that which is deep. Deeper than deep. True. Only true. Rare. But that's everyone. Everyone is part of this. Forget it or not, right? Forgotten or not, forsaken or not, it's still part of it. We're breathing it. We're breathing it. And we're being it, but practitioners are more so being it because they're conscious of what it is that needs to be beed here. You have to be the being here. You need to know what to be here in order to make a difference for the positive. So much negative, balancing the positive, you need to bring the neutral in. The neutral. The neutral. Not exactly what they call the middle path, but it's the neutral path. Not to the left or the right, and not even in the middle, but it's neutral. It's not between anything, it's just neutral. Period. Neutral. Neither for nor against, and then neither for nor against. Nor against, nor for. It's neutral. Now whether or not the physicists have figured out that neutral force as a fact in terms of what their field is, that's up to them. But this is a neutral. But if you perceive it, it's because it's already here. We are the neutral force. The in-between, beyond in-betweens. Any other questions now? No music?
So, where did the spiritual musicians going to come from?
What kind of question is that? What do you think? From you? Obviously from you.
Well, okay, good.
See, if you have something, then it's going to come from you. See, it comes from the inner. It comes from within. See? It's not like it's going to come from anywhere else. It's not going to drop out of the sky. They're going to have a mothership, and then you're going to see all these musicians peel off, right, and skydive into with their instruments, right, the instruments, the drums on the back.
Earth, Wind and Fire.
Right, you know what I mean? Yeah, so this is not about that. This is a recognition. See? Whether you play music or not, it's the heart. Your heartstrings have to be vibrating. That's what the world needs, is the higher vibration of the heartstrings. Not just music. Musicians, that's a figure of speech. So we have to be spirit beings. And then from that spirit being, then what I'm calling heart, fire, sound will arise, see, of itself, like earthquakes, like the volcano erupts, like a star bursts, nebula explodes. That's our potential, because we are that. So we have to try and be in touch with that as much as possible in terms of our possibilities. That means stop thinking you're programmed to be man or woman. Immediately. You're not that. And the programs related to it, you're not that. Whether it's stuff you hear, or hear there, or hear from someone, or Stop! You're not that. Feel your breath. Feel your breathing. Get in touch with your resonance. Get your heartstrings moving in a certain way. If you can't, then maybe the music that is being offered here can help certain peeps of a certain intelligence and complexity of awareness. Help certain peeps to stop. I don't play this music for myself. Don't have anything to prove to itself. But this is given to help others stop, look, listen, and recover this heartful disposition towards life as a profound moment. And free of conditioning, free of culturing. It's not about culturing, although, with all due respect, it's what helps people to grow. One can say that I had a culturing of sorts, but it didn't work for me. I had to create my own culturing, even as a child. I had to play my drums to get away from everybody who was a culture. With all due respect to what the culture was. I had to play, to be free of that culture, which was part of the problem. That culture, whatever it was the culture of drinking and this kind of confusion about sexuality, confusion about tribal purpose, confusion about spiritual direction, all of that, total confusion. So fortunately in this case, the music was able to, that is my playing or urge to know, however it happened, started to dawn, so it's not what they're saying, it's not what they're playing, but I'll go along with that because I'm here. But then when the time comes, I'm going to let them know it's no longer real. It's part of the make-believe world, which is what has happened. Went along with it and said, okay, now enough of that. Enough. The history, the religious philosophies, all this musical culturing. All right, enough of the make-believe world. Keep it real from here on in. If you can hear it, you hear it. If you can't, let someone else in. Let someone else who has ears. Let them hear it. It's medicine for those. The rest who are convinced that they know what they know, they think they're high authorities, perfect. Keep going. Those who know that they know, but they also know that they don't know enough, come here and listen from the heart, and we shall see if you are able to be recovered and restored to your true heartstring resonance through the sacrament of heart fire sound, which is often as a sacrament, not a jazz form, not an art form, but a heart form. So once and always, as stated in the teachings here from the beginning. True heart form, heart fire sound. And of course here the word is, if you can't play it from there, why play at all? Although everyone is free to play. But here, if you can play it from there, from that level of communion, it's its purpose. Comment?
It would seem that the most powerful programming people are exposed to, particularly now, particularly the young, is not sexual politics or gender programming, but consumer culture, consumer programming, materialist programming. And this seems to be what's creating, people used to think, oh, one world is the goal. Well, the one world is a consumer culture now. It's not a good one world. That's
well, what you're saying then is a correct observation, but the peeps are being consumed. The peeps are already consumed. They're the thing that's being consumed. Yes. It's not that they're consumers, they're consumed. They are the consumed.
Yes.
They're already in the casket. They're already in the casket on the assembly line going straight down. Hate to tell you, peeps, you can get out now while you have a chance while you're going down. Wake up and come out of that, or just go with it and then come out the other end. Alright? Not that it's an end, but yeah, come out the other end. Alright? Whatever it takes to wake you up, so be it. Could be warfare. Could be gross materialism. Could be the porno thing. Whatever is your hell, before you get to heaven, or your ticket to heaven, so be it. And whatever it is, whatever your extreme trip is, you have to go with it, because good luck stopping you. Right? Go, drink yourself to awakening. Possible. Who knows as far as that goes. On the other hand, for those who are more sensitive, who can hear and feel because their life experience has made it clear to them that it's urgently needed for peeps to wake up at a deeper level of heartstring consciousness or heartstringfulness and so on, right? Then, this is great, this is what they need. The music here again is not the law for everybody else. It's not supposed to be that. It's just true for this. Here, it's true. For those who can hear and understand its process, and it's true. It doesn't have to be the law for anybody else. But here it is true, and that's the standard that is missing out here. Because what they're saying is that what is handed down to you is true. And I'm saying, that is not true. That is not true. That is handed down to you. It's not true. Because it's handed down to you, it's not true. It's what's handed down to you. That's all it is. It's what's handed down to you, like a shirt. Right? An old shirt. Here, oh, here's an old pair of shoes. Okay, if you accept that, then that's what you got. Right? You have what you accept. Or you have more than what you're merely accepting, and that's what the idea is of returning to your true spirit soul nature is about. So you can take, you can receive handed down, but it doesn't matter. That's not what it is. We're talking about original spiritual soul fullness, right? And that means you have a creative function. That means it's, to balance yourself out, you have to create. It's part of your nature. It's to create, explode, express, explode, expel, explode, express, and so on.
So do people's spiritual impulses always manifest a response somehow in the universe? Whether they know what they're feeling or not? Let's say somebody's awakening, they feel some kind of impulse towards the spiritual, they don't have any thought, they don't have any idea what it is they're looking for.
Point?
Does the universe, let's say, or spirit respond to that impulse?
Well, no, it's created by the universe and spirit. So these things occur when there's a certain kind of resonance, or openness. So awakening doesn't always come by accident, it appears that way. Awakening comes because there's a condition that's creating a softening for this thing to happen. So it's like conception. It happens under certain conditions. It's not just, sure, they say accident, but no, it's very precise. It happens lawful. You know, whether the conception is desired or undesired, forced or graciously appreciated, it's all lawful. Once that seed is released, it's lawful as far as that goes. Not that it's good. I'm not saying that it has to be a case where you go through it. Like any composition, it's good to cut it and kill it, roll up the paper, and destroy it before it gets to the press, or before your fame is gone. Right? Your reputation is at stake, so to speak. Right? So you have to know your creations. You have to know what you're creating. So this is part of it. We have to know what we're creating, and this goes right back to the point of spirit, soul, true nature. Spirit, soul, light first. And what that means, from light. From the light of sound, from pure sound. What does that mean? And the more peeps are invited to consider that, then the more they start to feel what that is. Because there's truth in that. There's true in that. And just as peeps who are cultured machines say, no, this is true, you say, correct. Your culturing is a powerful force, but it's not all there is. That's all there is to say on that. And you're programmed, respectfully so, you're programmed, with all due respect, to be the way you feel. Because we're all subject to that. But then we have, as I said earlier, this spirit soul nature, which is zero programming, no programming. So that means you have the opportunity then to consider to be or not to be programming. The fact that you can consider to be or not to be programming is evidence enough of the fact that you are spirit soul by nature. where you have the potential of a consideration. For example, objectivity, that means you're looking at it. If you're looking at it, you're not it. That's the point.
Beautiful.
So would a, let's say, lawful response to your presence as a spiritually realized being be an increased resonance within some people somewhere, whether they know of you or not? The point is, I guess to say is, do you have a great influence beyond those who know of you?
We all have a great influence. That's the good news and the bad news. We all have a great influence. We are part of the stream of perpetuating karmic patterns and impressions. If they're positive, fantastic, and it's positive going on. But in this universe, positive is not always positive. Positive can be positively negative. See, that's the mess here. That's why confusion prevails. Because people don't know what's good or what's bad, what's really positive, what's negative. They don't know who's real, who's not real. Who meant what, who didn't mean what. What was your intention when this happened? Say, hey, I didn't mean to do that. And they're talking the whole 100% truth. People can be driven to do something that they regret because they didn't actually do it. But we don't know that for sure, because peeps are not able to get in other peeps' heads to know whether or not what happened was due to a spirit influence, a certain kind of force, a psychic intervention of sorts. Say, some kind of freak where the person's arm wasn't intended to do what it did, and all of a sudden it goes up. And it did what it did. And it wasn't necessarily positive, in a sense, although it may have been, in fact, part of a destiny. See? It was serving something that had to be done, and yet this person didn't feel that that's what they wanted to do, and so they were used for it. Same with issues relative to car wrecks. You know, one car hits another car to get to the other car. So, you know, to finally get to the last car, 15 cars down, which is the one it intended to hit. But it couldn't get to it. But then when it got to it, the thing ended. So there you have it. See? Influence, karmic effect. Reverberation, karmic effect. We cause things. That's why it's important to get on the spiritual side, so that what your effects are more in tune with, resonant with, and much more vibratorily correct than the darker or more painful vibrations. You want the positive, healing vibration. That you want to be on that. Chanting is important, because that's self-healing. So it's correcting your healing. Correcting it. Making sure you're healing yourself. Being kind to yourself is chant. Telling your body and everything else that you know enough to polarize your atoms in your physical body by one sound. Everything comes to order right there. It's like a symphonic chord. Your body hears it. Wow, perfect, right? It's like peace. It's like instant peace, right? Because you're in this chaotic noise field, right? Everybody's uptight, painful, wanting to kill each other, and all of a sudden, everything stops. And you're released in just a moment. So people get together and chant. So, chant, stop, right? Without ego, and start to feel what the presence is. So, no ego. So this is part of the mastery of the whole thing. So the master says, do it this way, selfless, egoless. Don't get in the way. Don't get in the way of the music, don't get in the way of the teachings, don't get in the way of peeps. So you have these teachings out here that say, oh, you have to get involved with peeps. Not true. It says you have to get involved with the peeps. Why? Could be karmically disastrous for somebody. Who knows? We don't know. So you have to do not so much what you hear in terms of having to get more involved with peeps, which is already to take on their karma. That's the invitation. So they're saying, go out there and take on somebody else's karma, and we hope you survive it. Because then this makes people don't know what they're taking on from anybody else that's going to lead to what kind of result. They don't know. They don't know whose energy they're carrying, whose bad vibes they're carrying, whose spirits they're carrying. They don't know what effect that's having in them because they've never spent the time or haven't spent enough time knowing what the stillness is in themselves to be able to perceive things more clearly, properly for their body-mind. Coming.
The scientists talk about the butterfly effect. You know, a butterfly flaps its wings in Peru, and that leads to a tornado in India. You know, through this great Gaia.
It is like that. But,
Connectedness.
yeah, but yes, and
And so I'm trying to think: is there a spiritual level of the butterfly effect? Therefore, so we do something here, one person in a room.
that's all I'm saying. That's all that's been said here.
Yes, that's
right. Is that very same thing?
Exactly.
Stop, look, listen, go deep, get your heart string resonation happening. So, breathe with it, chant with it. That means pacify your body. We're not talking about just loving your body, but allow love to be present in your body. So, not as self-love, but just as heart love. It's a difference. So let love be the body. Peaceful. If you can get to a state of peace, that is love. The love of peace, the peace of love. It's openness. Okay, no defense mechanisms, no offense mechanisms, no projecting anything on other peeps, no desiring anything whatsoever, no putting anything out there on anybody. Just peace. Who can tolerate and stand that? Freedom. The freedom of peace, the peace of freedom. Who can stand that? Who can tolerate not being a disturbance to other people? Consciously. Even though you're being peaceful cannot disturb other people. Say, man, what's up with you? Why are you so peaceful? Hey, I don't like you. You're too peaceful. You know, take this. I'll take you out of that peace. Right? That's how it is out here. Everything opposing everything else. Peeps looking for trouble because that's their function when they are unconscious. The heart is totally ignored, that's what you expect. The heart is deprived, that's what you expect. The heart is non-existing, that's what you expect. It's kind of barbarian, brutal behavior in the world. Peeps reduce themselves to the brute level. Instead of stopping and coming together in the spirit of peace, which is, you know, I think what peeps are trying to do throughout the world, in their own way. Except, you know, there are political agendas attached to it, which may be good or bad depending on the person. But if that's our original nature, then we don't need these other things. Right now, here, on the spot, that's what it is. It's not about going anywhere, signing up anywhere, right, and turning over your goodies to someone else. It's right here on the spot, despite all of that. Despite all obligations, all demands, and all conditions, it's on the spot. It's conditionless. Unconditional. Heartfelt peacefulness. It's good practice. Come in.
One thing I'm getting from what you're saying is the truth of the fact that nothing can be known by its appearance, because
not exactly so. No one has said that. You have to be careful of appearances. Now you have the appearance of a master. You better know what that is. So I say you have to know, because you might miss it. So the guy just looked like. He just looked like that. Say, oh, well, you better back up. That was it. Before it's too late, you go say, excuse me, sir, ma'am, excuse me, are you? Say yes. Oh, man, thought you were an appearance. Yes, I am. Absolutely. An appearance. But not only an appearance. Maybe a necessary appearance in order to communicate itself to you, but not limited to an appearance. So, not really an appearance then, after all, see? So you have to understand the mystery of that. See, the appearance is also the divine, as well as an appearance which is not necessarily that. But then you get to a point where it's all the divine, however it appears. It's all the divine, but not necessarily in relative terms. Beyond good and bad, transcendent divine, not in relative terms. We can't say that somebody shooting someone else's brains out is good. We can't say that necessarily. For someone, the guy who was doing it may have felt better than ever before, had the freedom to do something he thought was a powerful thing to do, and then later on recognizes that he shot himself, or she shot herself, and they felt the pain, they experienced it, so they would never do it again, because they got the objective level of it come right back to them. Say, whoa, whoa, I just killed myself. See? If they could have that kind of intelligence, great. Then they slow down and maybe join the party here, say the heart party. Yeah. But again, before that can happen to peeps, that is the awakening can happen, you have to go through your stuff. Until it has its way with you and it spits you out. Or, under certain conditions, you can wake up midstream and say, whoa. That's why your goodness and your kindness is important to other peeps, because you don't know who you're going to affect, and wake up by your appearance in this way. Yeah. Very good. Comment. It's very good for what it is, very good.
The other thing I'm getting from what you're saying is the importance of getting in touch with the inner voice, let's say, or the inner truth, and following that, because that's like the only guide star in the whole thing, maybe, that you have, at least initially. Because you can't know anything from the outside, in a sense, is how I'm interpreting what you're saying.
Well, you can and you can't. That's why we have to understand appearances. You see, the teacher's outside of you, it would appear. Until you recognize what it is, and then you see that what it is outside of you is really a reflection of what is inside, or needing recognition in some form or other. And so it isn't outside, it's really inside. See, the teacher is not just the teacher. The teacher is you. You are the teacher. Teacher is you. And then, of course, the idea is, what level of consciousness are you needing to work from beyond what you have assumed you were suffering, or assumed as you're suffering, right? That means you made real to yourself that you were just a suffering fool, let's say, or a suffering egomaniac, or a suffering great person, right? Famous person, famous artist, great, right? Whatever the assumption is, famous nobody, whatever it is. In the company of the Master, then we start to see the creative function of spirit, soul, nature in its original form. So, well, it's not anybody. It can be anybody. So it could be everybody. It could be itself. Say. That's the idea, is to get to where your soul as spirit is itself. Say. And therefore there's God consciousness of itself, or Hudel realization of itself, and so on. It's of itself. There's no narcissism, it just is what it is. And it is of itself, because it is, and it knows it is beyond knowing it is anything. True. All right, good question.
I'm just thinking back to the lawful responses points of the universe, you know.
Yes.
And I'm trying to get from that how the paradox of someone like yourself, who is a world teacher and yet hidden in plain sight.
Well, we don't say that exactly, just nothing. So just being here, living a certain kind of life, and it's not about the world, it's the no world teacher. So, the no world teacher, teacher of no world. So, no teacher. So, it's the no teacher. The teacher, no teacher, teacher. There's no teaching. It's a living demonstration, being. So then it's being, right, which shows up inevitably because it's being speechful and expressive of its nature. Then that goes on paper, and then that becomes a certain kind of teaching as such. It can be used as a method of insight for some, confusing for others. Okay? However, it's free. It knows where it came from, and everything is lawful as far as that goes.
I'm asking, there's no possibility to, let's say, put things back in the box, Pandora's box idea. So once...
What do you mean exactly?
In the sense that once...
Who? And then what?
Oh, in the sense that any being, once their spirituality is awakened, once they have some awareness, it's not really ever possible to discount that or ignore that entirely, because it's going to lawfully...
You can have awareness and get knocked out, done in. As you hear the stories of certain teachers and masters, clearly recognized as such, and then they get taken out, which is part of it. And then you maybe are so free, you don't mind being taken out at that point. You know it's your time to be taken out. Because there should be no fear about it. So, but then there is fear. The body is fear. So the body may have fear, the person, the being, may not have fear. And the body may be cringing with fear. But the being says, no, this is good. I'm going into the fire. I'm going to take the bullets now, whatever. And the body's like freaking out because the body is not there. And the body is self-preserving, in a sense. Your atoms are confused. They're freaking out. It's like, what is he saying? What is she saying? Go and die? No! Hell no! Whoa, 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 whoa! How do we stop this bus? Right? What do we do? Shut the heart down or something. Just knock him out somehow. You know? Create a disruption. Right? Kill the electricity. Shut it down. This thing has gone nuts. Right? Well, this is possible. Because you are going against nature and life if you are at a certain level. You say, now I want to die. I'm ready to go. I want to go in 10 minutes. You say, some people say that's suicide. Other people say, well, it's mastery. Because you should be able to choose when you go. You should be able to pick your time. So then you have this political thing that says, no, you shouldn't be able to pick your time because God. When's God just saying anything? Who said so? Will God please show up here and speak for itself? You don't hear that. You understand?
Yes. So
one more.
So I guess my question was originally there, can you turn your back on spirit? Can you turn your back on awakening once you've awakened?
Well, you can and you can't. See? You can think you can.
You can think you can.
See? You can think you can, but then you haven't had a realization of it. If you have a full realization of it, there's no turning back. You can't. Because if you have full realization, then that's all there is. That's what realization implies. See? You can have preliminary realizations that you can turn back on. But you can't turn back on it. That doesn't mean you become moral. I'm not going to say that. You can become totally immoral, right? But you're free then to be absolutely immoral, whatever that means. Because then you're beyond. You can die, you cannot die, you're beyond. But you're not there to harm. That's the difference. See? Immoral then relative to who and what, but you're not there as a, if you, the realization that we're talking about here, in terms of heart realization, then there's no way you're going to harm anybody. Okay? No way. It's hard to do it, but if you have the flip side. If you have to kill somebody, then you may have to do it. Then you do it without wanting to harm them, because you have to kill them. Say, sorry, sir, I have to kill you. Sorry, this is good for you. Good luck. I know it. I know it. I'm a master. I know this. I have to do this. Believe me. Good luck. Good movie. Comment? Closing? We have a minute. Very good. Any comments, questions? You good? All right, very good. Love always. Hugh?
Shoot.